Saudi League Super League. Why is Saudi Arabia buying the world's best players? The Public Investment Fund, PIF, of Saudi Arabia acquired majority ownership of Newcastle United in October 2021, signaling their ambition to win the Premier League. However, their focus extended beyond international leagues to their own national teams and leagues. They made headlines by defeating Argentina in the World Cup, and later Cristiano Ronaldo joined the Saudi Pro League. Recently, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman announced a relaunch of the nation's premier domestic football competition. This involved selling the largest clubs to PIF, massive investments in the league, and attracting top European talents like Karim Benzema. Despite controversy surrounding human rights concerns and accusations of sports washing, Saudi Arabia aims to transform the Saudi Pro League into one of the world's top leagues. This video examines the implications of these developments for Saudi Arabia and global football. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for further updates on the Saudi Arabian League. Saudi Arabia's announcement. Saudi Arabia's announcement regarding the governance of football represents a monumental shift, yet its essence is straightforward. The Public Investment Fund, PIF, will assume control of the Saudi Pro League's four prominent teams: Al Nassr, Al Hilal, Al Ittihad, and Al Ahly. These transactions will be finalized before the commencement of the 2023-24 season in August. PIF will possess a 75% stake in these teams, while the remaining 25% will be held by a non-profit organization. The Ministry of Sport has specified that each club's board will comprise 7 members, with PIF appointing 5 and the non-profit appointing 2. This development is unparalleled in global football, as it consolidates ownership of 4 elite teams under a single entity. Furthermore, other pro league clubs will undergo changes in their ownership structure through investments from various companies. Al Qadsiya will receive investment from Aramco, the state's esteemed oil institution and the world's most valuable company. The Diriyah Gate Development Authority will have a stake in Al Diriyah Club, the Royal Commission for Al Ula Governorate in Al Ula Club, and Niam in Al Sukar FC. All 4 of these corporations are ultimately state-owned, with Niam being notably recognized as the entity responsible for developing the planned smart city currently under construction in the northwestern region of the country. During the announcement ceremony, Prince Abdullah bin Turki Al Faisal, Saudi Arabia's Minister of Sport, expressed the project's objective of elevating the Saudi Pro League to become one of the top 10 leagues globally. This would entail tripling its market value to SAR $8 billion, $2.1 billion, by leveraging both commercial revenue and private sector investments. A significant aspect of Saudi Arabia's focus on being a footballing superpower involves economic diversification and societal transformation. It is believed that sports and entertainment have a vital role to play in achieving this goal on a domestic level. Saudi Arabia has had a historically conservative identity, potentially being one of the most conservative in the world, and its foundations were built upon this ideology. Consequently, when a new de facto ruler emerges, in this case Mohammed bin Salman, and, within a relatively short timeframe of 5 years, chooses to abandon the conservative identity entirely and pursue a new one, it necessitates substantial projects and investments. These endeavors primarily focus on domestic initiatives. As of January, the Saudi Pro League is ranked as the 58th highest quality league in the world, based on the average team strength, placing it below Scotland's Premiership, 49th, but ahead of Italy's Serie C, 68th. However, Saudi Arabia aims to enhance the league's appeal and attract external investments by acquiring the world's finest players. It's worth noting that the PIF has already pursued this path with LIV Golf. The presence of football's most esteemed stars is the swiftest route to achieving credibility in the sport. Realistically, organizers understand that they cannot compete with European clubs for players in their prime seeking to participate in the UEFA Champions League. However, they can outbid them when it comes to renowned players nearing the end of their careers. The advantage of this approach lies in the fact that these players have already established recognition, a fan base, and media attention. In preparation for the 2023-24 season, each of the 4 teams owned by PIF has set a target of recruiting at least 3 globally recognized players. the remaining clubs in the league are expected to acquire a smaller number of renowned players. Currently, Saudi teams are permitted to have 8 foreign players in their squads. By implementing shared ownership, league organizers can ensure a balanced distribution of talent among the top teams. This strategy aims to promote competition, tighten the league standings, and ultimately generate greater commercial revenue. The timing of this announcement is significant, particularly with the involvement of 38-year-old Ronaldo and recent acquisition of Benzema. Additionally, the league intends to attract high-profile managers and executives to coach and oversee the teams, potentially including Jose Mourinho and Massimiliano Allegri. Who is coming to the Saudi League? In the coming weeks, numerous veteran stars are expected to be linked with moves to Saudi Arabia. Organizers have mentioned names like Messi, Neymar, Pepe, and Luka Modric as potential targets as early as February. Sergio Busquets, the Barcelona legend who recently played his last game for the club, has received a contract offer from a Saudi team, with Al Hilal being mentioned as a possible destination for the 34-year-old midfielder. Al Ittihad, another prominent Saudi club, has been rumored to show interest in players such as Wilfried Zaha, N'Golo Kante, and Adama Traoré, who previously played under head coach Nuno Espirito Santo at Wolves. Other notable players who either have expiring contracts, are out of favor at their current clubs, or have announced their departures include Hugo Lloris, Alexis Sanchez, and Roberto Firmino. Additionally, the top teams may seek new high-profile managers to maximize the potential of their star-studded squads. Another intriguing aspect is how the league plans to strengthen teams beyond their marquee players. Al Masihal, a representative, expressed confidence that as the league becomes more competitive and appealing, young talents from around the world will take notice. Last month, the Saudi Arabian FA and the Confederation of African Football, CAF, signed a memorandum of understanding to enhance growth opportunities for African and Saudi football, raising the possibility of further collaborations, especially with PIF's ownership of the major Saudi clubs, allowing for significant investment in academies. Chinese Super League 2.0. Although the specific players and circumstances differ, the recent spending spree by Saudi Arabia to elevate its football status bears a striking resemblance to China's ambitious approach less than 10 years ago. China, aiming to disrupt the established order in football and enhance its global standing, experienced a similar surge. Notable stars like Oscar, Jackson Martinez, Hulk, Paulinho, and Renato Augusto, along with esteemed coaches such as Marcelo Lippi, Fabio Capello, and Manuel Pellegrini, were enticed to move east as the Chinese Super League threatened to dominate Asian football and emerge as a prominent player on the world stage. Guangzhou Evergrande spearheaded this movement, securing 2 AFC Champions League titles, while other rising clubs like Shanghai SIPG, now Shanghai Port, Hebei CFFC, Tianjin Quanjian, and Jiangsu Suning made significant impacts in the league. China's President Xi Jinping prioritized the nation's transformation into a football powerhouse, prompting numerous businesses, particularly real estate developers, to invest in football domestically and globally in an attempt to gain favor with the ruling Chinese Communist Party. However, China's journey serves as a cautionary tale for Saudi Arabian football as it embarks on its own quest for international recognition. Despite initial expectations of becoming a dominant force in Asian football by this stage, China's reality is far from ideal. The Chinese Super League has mostly lost its star attractions, and the national team is likely to struggle in World Cup qualification, even with Asia's increased allocation from 4 to 8 slots. The Chinese experience stands as a reminder of the challenges and potential pitfalls that lie ahead for Saudi Arabian football. Moreover, the situation is compounded by the fact that the country's top football officials have been detained under suspicion of fraud and bribery, adding another layer of concern. This current state of affairs is a far cry from what was envisioned. Guangzhou Evergrande, once a formidable force in Chinese football and subsequently renamed Guangzhou FC, has suffered a significant decline, having been relegated to China League One and failing to secure a single victory in their first 8 matches. This perilous situation puts them at risk of a second consecutive relegation, a stark contrast to their previous dominance in the AFC Champions League, where they claimed titles in 2013 and 2015. In addition, formerly promising clubs like Jiangsu, Hebei, and Tianjin have all faced financial difficulties and ceased to exist, serving as stark reminders of failure and illustrating the rapidity with which fortunes can change in football. In an interview with Arab News, Professor Simon Chadwick, an expert in sport and geopolitics, offered his insights on the matter. You need a vision, and then you need a strategy, and then you need to be able to put that strategy into action. You need to have checks and balances within the system, that if the strategy is not working in the most appropriate way, then those checks and balances can be enacted to keep you on the right path towards your vision. These are things that I sense a little more in Saudi Arabia that didn't necessarily exist in China. As more details emerge regarding Saudi Arabia's strategy for success in football, it becomes evident that their approach differs significantly from China's. The Saudi experiment encompasses various elements, such as privatizing the country's 4 major clubs, namely Al Hilal, Al Ittihad, Al Nasser, and Al Ahly, as well as a projected 4-fold increase in annual revenues. In contrast to China, where financial backing primarily relied on private individuals, often with ties to the ruling Communist Party, who used their wealth accumulated from the unsustainable growth of the real estate sector, the Saudi investment originates directly from the state. The funding comes through the country's sovereign wealth fund, the Public Investment Fund, which also provided financial support to ventures like LIV Golf and the acquisition of Newcastle United. This distinction provides a sense of greater stability and reduces the risk of a humiliating collapse similar to what occurred in China when the real estate market faltered and attempts to rescue clubs came too late. Controversy. Still, many have raised eyebrows about Saudi Arabia's objectives and questioned whether they were trying to sports wash. Looking back to 2015 and 2016, Mohammed bin Salman gained favor with Western governments, discussing a departure from the Wahhabist ideology and granting women the right to drive, among other changes. Although the bar was set low, these actions were considered radical given the environment Wael grew up in, where women were restricted in workplaces and driving. However, some within the kingdom, particularly women, felt that the changes were not happening quickly enough, leading to a crackdown on dissent. Additionally, the death of Jamal Khashoggi tarnished Saudi Arabia's reputation, making it an outcast in the eyes of the United States and others. Concerns persist regarding executions, women's rights, and LGBTQ+ rights. Saudi funds have invested in various sectors, including Silicon Valley, healthcare, and sports. This raises the question of whether sport should be shielded from infiltration by criticized states or treated as a mere business venture. There is a political and appeasement aspect to Mohammed bin Salman's actions, driven by his fear of an Arab Spring-like uprising. To mitigate this risk, he aims to appease the Wahhabis, provincial factions, and other influential elements. The investments in clubs, particularly in the oil sector, cater to these groups. Additionally, the inclusion of NEOM, a technological advancement, serves as a deliberate choice in these investments. They are part of a broader strategy to shape Saudi Arabia's image internationally and influence how Saudis perceive the future of their country. In summary, the announcement of Saudi Arabia's substantial investment in the nation's premier domestic football competition, the Saudi Pro League, has sent shockwaves through the footballing world. With the Public Investment Fund taking majority ownership of 4 prominent clubs, massive investments in the league, and the arrival of top European talents, Saudi Arabia is on a mission to elevate its football status. But the question is, will you be tuning into this new Super League? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for further updates on the Saudi Arabian League.